Hi guys, we are going to do a little bit more reading today on our environments changing with fossils. So if you can go ahead and flip your book to page 232, we are going to read pages 232 through 235. So a little bit less than before, but just follow along with me as I read to you. So on page 232, changing environments. You can use fossils to tell how old a rock layer is and how a landmass might have moved. What else can you learn from fossils? Fossils provide clues about changing environments too. Finding fossils of trees in the middle of some grasslands would lead you to conclude that the land has changed. Finding a fossil sea snail at the top of a mountain would cause you to conclude that the environment has changed. The fossil record in an area is like a history book, telling you about the changes the environment in that area has undergone. The Libra tar pits are located in Los Angeles, California, where tar still seeps from the ground. About 40,000 years ago, the area looked like the picture shown on the facing page, so on page 232. Scientists have collected fossils of thousands of plants and animals from the pits. Scientists know that those plants lived in a climate only a little wetter and cooler than it is today. In other words, the climate has not changed much in this area over the last 40,000 years. Falls of the Ohio. Today, the Falls of the Ohio is a state park in Indiana, tucked into a bend of the Ohio River where the land is flat and often dry. The summers are hot and the winters are cold and snowy. But the rocks at the falls of the Ohio State Park tell a different story. The rocks are filled with fossils of coral, clams, and other organisms that lived in shallow, warm tropical seas. You can see on the map that Indiana is far from the ocean today. These fossils show that the climate in this area has changed a lot over the last 380 million years. What a long time ago. Let's go back to page 232 and look at the question. Suppose you find a fossil seashell in the rocks in your local park. What does that tell you about the environment that was once there? So if you are at a park, okay, maybe where you play baseball or maybe they have like a jungle gym, okay, and you find a fossil of a seashell, what do you think that means? What did that area used to be? So just answer it in one sentence for me. And then let's go to page 234. The Great Die-Offs. When scientists look at the fossil record, they compare fossils to organisms living today. Scientists have discovered that many organisms have become extinct. There are times in Earth's history when a great many organisms became extinct all at once. How did this happen? Sometimes only one species becomes extinct at a time. The passenger pigeon became extinct in 1914. Hunting and loss of habitat are the likely causes. At several times during Earth's history, many species became extinct at the same time. These large events caused by climate change are called mass extinctions. So when a bunch of extinctions happen together, it's in a mass, huge number. Worldwide volcanic eruptions can cause mass extinctions. These eruptions blow large amounts of ash and dust into the air. Sunlight is blocked, so plants can't grow. Other plants die when the ash settles on them and smothers them. If plants die, the animals that eat those plants also then die. Objects from outer space can cause mass extinction. At the end of the Mesozoic, an asteroid crashed into what is now Mexico. The impact sent huge amounts of dust into the air. The dust blocked out sunlight. Changes in climate occurred that were similar to those caused by large volcanic eruptions. These changes may have caused the extinction of many animals, including the last of the dinosaurs. Okay, let's look at the chart on page 235, summarizing mass extinctions. Fill in the chart to explain some causes of mass extinctions. Okay, so I'm gonna work through the first one with you and then I'll let you do the other ones on your own. So let's look at the cause of the first one, volcanic eruption. Okay, so when a volcano erupts, what is the effect? So what happened after when the volcano erupted? What do you think happened to the environment, which then leads to some results? So I'm going to give you a second to think about it. We did read about it on page 234. If you said that dust and ash will end up in the air, you are correct. So for cause, we have volcanic eruption. The effect is dust and ash in the air. And then what do you think the result of that is? So if a volcano erupts and we have a bunch of dust and ash in the air, then what do you think the result is of that area? Okay, if we have dust and ash in the air, what is that covering? If you said the sunlight, you are correct. So if we can't get sunlight because of dust and ash in the air, what is going to happen? Well, plants need the sunlight in order to grow. So that means those plants will die. And then what happens to the animals that need to eat those plants? Where if the plants are dying off, then those animals are not going to be able to eat those plants. And hopefully they can find something else to eat. But most likely they won't, so then those animals will also die off. Okay, so the result for that one is we won't get any sunlight, which then causes those plants to die off in the area, and then it'll be a ripple effect, and then animals who eat those plants will also die off. Okay, so why don't you work on the other ones on your own? The effect is flooding. So what do you think might cause flooding? If you said too much rain, you are correct. So the cause for the second one is too much rain. The effect is flooding. And then if we have a bunch of flooding in an area, what do you think is going to happen to those living things that are around? We will go over this in class, but I do want you to work on this and do the best that you can. You also will have a challenge question on Google Classroom, so please make sure that you get on Google Classroom to check that out. Always use RACE. Remember, R is restate the prompt. A is answer the question. C is cite evidence, whether you get it from the reading or from something that we have learned. And E is explain, and please make sure to use complete sentences and put your periods where they belong. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye.